Somewhere out there, beyond the noise and pressure of the modern world, there are places where peace still whispers louder than traffic, where people don't look at you with judgment. They look at you with warmth. Places where you're not tolerated, you're embraced. Where a smile means welcome, not curiosity. Where life moves slower, love feels purer, and every sunrise reminds you that joy doesn't have to be expensive. Imagine stepping off a plane and feeling it instantly, the air softer, the faces brighter. The sense that for once you don't have to explain who you are. You're not the outsider, you're family. Across the world, there are nations where being black isn't a label, it's a connection. Where brothers and sisters see you as one of their own. Where strangers call you my friend, and communities open their doors with genuine pride and warmth. And here's the truth: in these places you don't just survive, you thrive. Because life here costs a fraction of what it does back home. Rent, that once drained your paycheck, now buys comfort and space. Meals that cost $50 in the US. Here, they're $3, and they come with a smile that feeds your soul more than the food ever could. These are lands of rhythm, of warmth, of quiet dignity, where safety is normal, where belonging is instant, and where the world slows down long enough for you to truly live. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're traveling to 5 countries that welcome black people with open arms. 5 places where your heart will rest easy, your wallet will breathe freely, and your story will finally feel at home. And trust me, country number 1 will surprise you. It's not where you think, but it just might be where your new life begins. 5. Belize, the Caribbean's secret embrace. Welcome to Belize, a place so small you could miss it on the map, yet so warm it could fill your entire heart. Here the Caribbean Sea glows like liquid turquoise. The waves don't crash, they whisper. Palms sway gently in the golden light, and in the distance you hear the soft rhythm of drums, the sound of the Garifuna people whose roots blend Africa and the Caribbean into one heartbeat. As you walk through a coastal town, children run past laughing street vendors, call out in English mixed with Creole, and someone greets you with a grin that feels instantly familiar. Hey brother, where you from? It's not curiosity, it's connection. Because in Belize, nobody is a stranger for long. This is Afro-Caribbean culture in its purest form, alive, proud, and free. Every November, the streets of Dangriga explode in color during Garifuna Settlement Day, a festival celebrating survival music and unity. Drums pound through the night, women dance in traditional dresses, and the whole town moves as one, an echo of Africa meeting the Caribbean in perfect rhythm. And beyond the celebrations, there's an everyday peace here. Life is simple, no rush, no stress, no judgment. Locals love to say, "Go slow, man." And they mean it. The slower you go, the more you notice the smell of coconut stew, the laughter from a neighbor's porch, the sunset melting into the horizon like gold spilling into the sea. But here's what surprises most people. Belize is not just beautiful, it's affordable. A small home in Corozal or San Ignacio costs just around $500 to $700 a month. Meals, fresh fish rice and beans, fried plantains, only $4 to sikya your entire lifestyle. Around $1,000 to $1,200 a month, and that's not just living, that's living well. And getting here is refreshingly easy. You can arrive on a 30-day tourist visa and extend it again and again for just a small fee, no complicated paperwork, no endless interviews. Or, if you want to stay longer, Belize offers one of the most welcoming paths in the region, the Qualified Retired Persons Program. All it takes is proof of a $2,000 monthly income, and you can live here year-round, duty-free, tax-free, and stress-free. That's why so many African Americans have made Belize their second home, especially in Placencia and Punta Gorda, where entire expat communities thrive beside the sea. They come for the weather, but they stay for the warmth. Take James, for example, a retired firefighter from Atlanta. He first visited Belize to escape the cold. One evening, while walking along the beach, he stopped at a small bar run by a Garifuna family. They invited him to sit, poured him a coconut drink, and by the end of the night, he was laughing like he'd known them forever. Now, years later, he still lives in that same town. He says, "I came for the beaches, but I stayed for the kindness." And that's what makes Belize unforgettable. It's not just the postcard beauty, it's the way the country makes you feel. Here, the ocean isn't a border, it's an embrace. The people don't just say welcome, they prove it every single day. In Belize, you don't chase paradise, you live in it. 4. Portugal, the gateway to Europe. If Europe had a heartbeat, it might sound like Portugal. Cobblestone streets that echo with footsteps of centuries past. Sunlit trams gliding through narrow alleys, and the haunting voice of Fado floating down from a balcony, a song that feels both sad and beautiful, like longing wrapped in love. As the sun sets over the Tagus River, Lisbon glows in gold. Cafes spill onto sidewalks, laughter mingles with music, and strangers greet you with the same warmth as an old friend. Portugal doesn't shout its charm, it whispers it gently, like a secret meant only for those who truly listen. Here, diversity isn't new, it's woven into the nation's DNA. From the capital Lisbon to the southern coast of Algarve, you'll meet people with roots in Angola, Cabo Verde, and Guinea-Bissau, all former Portuguese colonies. Centuries of history have made Portugal a place where cultures don't just collide, they coexist. Walk through the Moraria district, and you'll find African markets beside pastel houses, reggae bars next to Fado cafes, and smiles that make you feel you've always belonged. Locals are famously kind, calm, curious, and quietly proud of their heritage. They don't care about the color of your skin. They care about the content of your smile. And they love to share their passions. Good food, slow life, deep conversations. And what surprises most people is how accessible life here can be. A one-bedroom apartment in Porto or Braga, peaceful, safe, full of charm, costs around $700 to $900 a month. Meals of grilled sardines, bacalhau, or pastel de nata cost about $6 to $10. Your whole European dream can come true for roughly $1,400 a month, and that includes sunsets, seaside walks, and the kind of peace money can't buy. Even residency is simple and welcoming. Through the D7 passive income visa, you can live here long-term with proof of just $900 in monthly income. Stay 5 years, and you can apply for citizenship, unlocking all of Europe from Spain to Scandinavia. It's one of the most achievable paths to a new life on the continent, especially for retirees and remote workers seeking something softer, slower, and more soulful. But what truly makes Portugal unforgettable isn't the visa, the food, or even the beaches, it's the people. Portuguese women in particular are known for their grace, gentleness, and emotional depth. They love slowly, sincerely, and with loyalty that endures. Many Black expats say relationships here feel real, built on respect and patience rather than pretense. Take Derek, a jazz musician from Chicago. He came to Lisbon for a few months to perform, but one evening after a show in Alfama, a local painter named Sophia approached him with a quiet smile. They spoke about art, about rhythm, about the meaning of home. Months later, Derek confessed, "In Portugal, I found a love that spoke the language of patience. And that's what this country teaches you, that love like life doesn't have to be rushed. Portugal reminds you to slow down, to listen, to savor, to find beauty in the waiting. Here, Europe doesn't feel distant or cold. It feels human. You're not a tourist, you're part of the story. Because Portugal isn't just Europe. It's the bridge between Africa, America, and the heart. 3. The Gambia, Africa's smallest but kindest nation. When the sun rises over the Gambia, it doesn't just light the sky, it sets the river on fire. The water glows red and gold. Children run barefoot along the dirt roads, laughing, and somewhere in the distance, the deep soulful beat of the djembe drum fills the air. It's not just music, it's a heartbeat. The heartbeat of Africa's smallest nation, and one of its kindest. They call it the smiling coast of Africa, and the name couldn't be more fitting. Here, smiles are not forced, they're effortless, genuine. You'll hear, "Welcome" long before you've even introduced yourself. From the fishermen in Bacau mending their nets by the sea to the women selling mangoes in the market, everyone greets you with warmth, not because they have to, but because it's who they are. The Gambia may be small in size, but it is enormous in spirit. This is a country where kindness isn't just an action, it's a culture. English is spoken everywhere, so conversations flow easily. And for many black travelers from the diaspora, coming here feels like coming home. The connection is instant, not based on where you were born, but on something deeper, shared roots, shared rhythm, shared soul. Life here moves gently, almost like the river itself. A small apartment by the ocean in Bacau or Brufut costs only $400 to $600 a month. A meal of fresh fish and rice, just $2 to $4. Your entire lifestyle rent food transport fund comes to about $900 a month. And yet every day feels richer than anything money could buy. The smell of the sea, the sound of laughter, the rhythm of community, these are the luxuries of the Gambia. And it's surprisingly easy to stay. Americans get 90 days visa-free, and if you fall in love with the place, as most do, it's easy to extend your stay or apply for residency with a small investment. No endless paperwork, no red tape, just another smiling official saying, "Welcome again." But beyond the ease of living, it's the people who steal your heart. Gambian women are gentle, devoted, and deeply family-oriented. They believe love is not about ownership, it's about sharing, about building something together. Relationships here aren't rushed. They grow naturally, nurtured by time and respect. One traveler, a writer from New York, shared this story. He was sitting under a baobab tree, resting from the heat, when a woman passing by offered him water. When he thanked her and said he was just visiting, she smiled and said, "You're not visiting, you're home." Then she added softly, "Welcome home, my brother." Those words, simple yet powerful, stayed with him long after he left, because that's what the Gambia does. It doesn't just welcome you, it embraces you. Here, Africa isn't a distant concept or a line on your ancestry report. It's a living, breathing warmth that finds you and claims you with open arms. In the Gambia, you don't just visit Africa. Africa visits your heart. 2. Brazil, the soul of the Southern Hemisphere. If joy had a sound, it would be samba. And if the soul of the Southern Hemisphere had a name, it would be Brazil. On the beaches of Copacabana, the rhythm never stops. Drums beat in the distance. Laughter fills the air, and the sun turns every face golden. People of every shade dance barefoot on the sand. Strangers becoming friends, friends becoming family. Because in Brazil, life itself is music. Brazil is the second largest Afro-descendant nation in the world, just after Nigeria. More than half of its 200 million people have African ancestry, and that heritage isn't hidden, it's celebrated. From the colorful streets of Salvador da Bahia, where drums echo the spirit of Africa, to the lively neighborhoods of Rio de Janeiro, The rhythm of the diaspora beats strong and proud. For African Americans who visit, something strange yet beautiful happens. They don't feel like outsiders. They feel connected. There's a shared understanding that goes beyond words, a look, a rhythm, a smile that says, "You belong here." Here, blackness isn't something you have to explain. It's something you share, something woven into the soul of the nation itself. And life here, despite the vibrant chaos, can be surprisingly affordable. A bright apartment near the beach in Fortaleza or Recife costs only $400, $600 a month. A meal of feijoada or grilled fish with rice, just $4 or $6. You can live well, dance, dine, and dream for around $1,000 to $200 a month. And you won't just save money. You'll gain something far more valuable: freedom. Visa-wise, Brazil makes it easy to stay. U.S. citizens can visit visa-free for 90 days, and extensions are simple. For those who fall in love with the land or with someone special, there are clear paths through investment or marriage residency. In Brazil, love and opportunity often arrive together. But beyond the logistics, it's the people who define this country. Brazilians live with an open heart, expressive, romantic, and unafraid to feel deeply. They greet strangers with hugs, not handshakes. They dance even when there's no music. Their philosophy is simple: life is short, so make it beautiful. One traveler shared a story from Salvador, the cultural heart of Afro-Brazilian heritage. He said, "I thought I came here to visit. But then during a drum circle one night, a woman took my hand, pulled me into the rhythm and said, 'Don't think, just feel.' That night, I understood what it means to love with rhythm. And maybe that's what Brazil really teaches you, that love isn't just something you say. It's something you move to, something you live through. It's in the dance, in the food, in the laughter, in the heat of the sun on your skin. Here, happiness is not a goal, it's a habit. And belonging doesn't need translation. It's written in the way people look at you, smile at you, and call you amigo. Because Brazil isn't just a country, it's a heartbeat. And once you feel it, you'll never forget its rhythm. Georgia, Europe's warmest surprise. At night, the capital of Tbilisi glows like a golden river. Street lamps trace the winding alleys. Music drifts from cafes and laughter spills from balconies that overlook a city where East meets West, where Europe and Asia clasp hands beneath the snowy peaks of the Caucasus Mountains. As you stroll through these cobblestone streets, someone calls out with a warm smile, "Gamarjoba." Hello. And it's not just a word, it's a welcome. Because in Georgia, hospitality isn't a courtesy, it's a way of life. The Georgian people take pride in making guests feel at home. It's common for a stranger to invite you in, pour you a glass of homemade wine, deep, rich, and crafted with care, and insist you stay for dinner. Before long, you're sitting at a long wooden table filled with khachapuri dumplings, roasted meats, and laughter. Here, sharing a meal isn't just about food, it's about connection, storytelling, and friendship that stretches beyond borders. Georgia is a country where color, culture, and kindness blend effortlessly. For Black travelers, it's often a pleasant surprise curiosity. Yes, but never hostility. Locals are genuinely interested. They want to know where you're from, what you think, what you love. And when you tell them your story, they listen with warmth and respect. It's one of the few European nations where being different makes you interesting, not isolated. Life here flows easily and affordably. In Tbilisi, a comfortable apartment costs between $350 and $500 per month. A hearty meal, khinkali dumplings or grilled trout from the mountain streams, runs about $3 to $5. Add it all up, and for $900 a month, You can live beautifully surrounded by mountains, culture, and community. It's Europe without the high price tag and with twice the heart. And the best part, Georgia loves visitors who stay. For Americans, entry is visa-free for a full year, one of the longest allowances in the world. When that year ends, you can simply leave for a day, come back, and start again. No endless paperwork, no stress, no problem. It's as if the country itself is saying, stay as long as you need. We'll keep the wine warm. But what truly makes Georgia unforgettable isn't the affordability, it's the affection. Georgian women are thoughtful, graceful, and deeply family-oriented. They value sincerity and loyalty, and many are eager to learn about new cultures, not from curiosity, but from a genuine desire to connect. One expat from Toronto once said, I came as a tourist, but I stayed because of her smile. He met a local artist in Tbilisi's Old Quarter, and what started as a conversation over coffee turned into a love story written between mountains and vineyards. He told me, there's something in the air here. Maybe it's the wine, maybe it's the people, but Georgia feels like love that never hurries, only deepens. And that's Georgia's secret, a small country with an enormous heart, where every mountain holds a melody, every dinner ends with a toast, and every stranger has the potential to become family. Georgia may be small, but its heart is enormous. Belize, Portugal, Gambia. Brazil. Georgia, 5 lands, 5 dreams. Each one a story, a heartbeat of its own. From the gentle waves of the Caribbean, kissing the golden shores of Belize, to the sunset stretching across Lisbon's cobblestone streets. From the warm smiles of Gambia by the glowing Red River, to the glimmer of wine beneath the snowy Caucasus peaks of Georgia, and finally, the pulsing samba on Copacabana Beach, where Brazil sings with its soul. 5 destinations, 5 ways of life, yet one simple truth, the world is kinder than you think. Somewhere out there are places that open their arms where you don't have to explain who you are, where a smile can replace a greeting, and where people see you not for your past, but for your heart. You can live freely, love deeply, and spend less without ever feeling like a stranger again. Because home isn't on a map, it's a feeling. It's the moment someone says, "Welcome home, my friend." It's the realization that sometimes to find yourself, you just need a new horizon. So, what about you? Among these 5 countries, Belize, Portugal, Gambia, Georgia, or Brazil, which one would you call home? Leave your answer in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to join, discover Globe Places Top 10 on our next journey, where every destination isn't just a place, but a feeling worth living for.